This will get you set up with R in RStudio on Windows. So I'm actually doing this on a Mac, but I'm running Parallels with Windows 7, so you might see a little bit of a difference depending on if you have Windows 8 or Windows 10 installed, but you can follow along pretty easily here. So to start out, we're going to download R because R needs to be installed before RStudio, and you can actually just Google R, and the first link is what you want. So what you'll do is you'll head over to the download link here, CRAN, which will make you choose a mirror from which to download from, and the first link is good enough. So we can click on this, which will bring you to a list of options for which version you want to download. Now we want to download R for Windows, so we'll head over there, and we're going to download the base package. We don't need to worry about these other two options here. We'll click on base and just click on the download R 3.2.2 for Windows. And so what that'll do is it'll have it download the executable file. I've already downloaded it previously, so I'm going to go into the downloads folder and go ahead and open up the R-3.2.2. So I'll double click this and it'll run you through the standard installation stuff. So we'll allow it to make changes. We'll install it in English. If you are an international student, I do recommend installing it in English. It makes a few things a bit easier than in your native language. And we'll click Next to go through the standard things here. All these things we can just click Next, it's fine. We can have the defaults, that's fine. And just keep going, keep going. And one thing I would actually recommend is unclicking the Create a Desktop icon. Now the reason why is we're not actually going to be opening R itself. We'll be using R, accessing R through RStudio, and sometimes having this additional shortcut is a little bit confusing. So we'll let it do its installation goodness, and it will finish shortly. And once this is done, we can head on over and download RStudio, which is an interface with R that allows us to do a few things to make our lives easier. So we're done installing R, and now for RStudio, we can just Google RStudio here, and the first link is what we want. So we can head over to that page, and what we want to do is we want to download RStudio. So we'll click on the link, and the version that we want is the desktop version. And download RStudio Desktop. So which version do we want? Well, we want the one for Windows Vista 7, 8, 10. So we'll click on the link and it'll start downloading the file. I previously downloaded it, so I'm going to head to my downloads folder and I'm going to click on RStudio 0.99.473. So I will do this, and it'll have you go through the standard installation set of screens. All the defaults are fine. And so once this is installed, this is what we'll actually be opening in this class when we want to run R. Now R is running in the background when we open RStudio. RStudio adds 3 additional windows where we can write commands, where we can see what variables are defined, and see help files and plots a little bit more easily, and so that's why we use RStudio instead of R itself. So I'll close this out. And now to access RStudio, you can either put a link on your desktop or access it through the Start menu. I'm not going to access R here because RStudio is what I want. I'm going to go ahead and click that to load up RStudio. And this is what you'll see. Well, I've run RStudio before, so it's going to have an additional window up here on the upper left because this is where I've been putting in commands. When you open it for the first time, you'll just see this guy right here, which is actually R itself. And so these extra windows here allow for greater functionality. That's the benefit of using RStudio. And we'll become very familiar with how to use RStudio and what these 3 windows mean as we move on throughout the class.